Today, the same Ratan Tata. My guest tonight is from the select and rarefied circle of India's men of distinction. His famous name carries a legend of achievement with integrity, as does the man himself, Ratan Tata. We first met at a time in our lives when we'd both returned from abroad and were both at the threshold of unknown worlds that lay ahead. For him, the world of corporate challenge. For me, the world of celluloid fantasy. Today, the same Ratan Tata stands tall as chairman of the Tata Group, undisputed leader of Indian industry. I feel a special pride and privilege to have a rendezvous with the intensely private and immensely gracious Ratan Tata.
Let your thoughts, your dreams unfold. Let's talk of love, of tales untold. Speak, so I can see your soul. Speak, so I can see your soul.
Ratan, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation. I know how media aloof you are, so can I just say quite simply, I'm honored by your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Simi. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Do you remember when we first met? Long back.
Yes.
You'd just come back from the US after graduating in architecture and structural engineering,
That's
wasn't it?
correct, yes.
Is that what you had planned to do with your life, to become an architect?
Yes, and in fact I worked in the US as an architect and as a structural engineer for a period of time after I graduated and had no intention of coming back.
So you were well settled there.
Well, I was not well settled, but I was happily employed there.
Then what happened?
My grandmother talked me into returning, or rather I returned because she wanted me back.
This is Lady Navajbai Tata.
That's right, that's right. She was at that time getting quite old, and I'd been very close to her. My mother and father had divorced when we were my brother and I were quite young. And she brought us up. So I was quite close to her, and she wanted me back. And so I came back for her, or I would not have come.
Yes.
I happily came back.
Okay. After a few months, I remember you moved on to Jamshedpur.
Actually, after 15 days, I think, of returning, I was sent out to Jamshedpur.
What was it like then?
It seemed like everyone was concerned that I should not be treated differently. So I was told to stay in an apprentice hostel. And I worked on the shop floor for 6 months in Telco. And then for a couple of years in Tisco on the shop floor. I was attached to various production departments. I was in the blast furnaces, near the furnace, in the steel melting shops. Again, knew every nook and cranny of the Tisco works. It was terrible at that time, but if I look back on it, it's been a very worthwhile experience because I've spent years hand in hand with workers. I have mixed with them. I have eaten in their canteens. I have been attached to superintendents. Many of the people who are in management in Tisco today remember those days when this goofy young guy was walking the shop floors.
So actually, the Tata name didn't bring any privileges, did it?
No, in fact, I'd say it was a disadvantage. Here was someone who had just come in from Los Angeles being told that you will not take your car to Jamshedpur, you will go by bicycle, and out of a sense of rebellion, I refused, and I'd walk to work every day.
Really?
So, those kinds of things, looking back on those years, was a good thing.
Did you at any time feel any regret? What have I done? I mean, those lovely days in LA, and suddenly I'm in the middle of this.
Yeah, I almost went back 3 times in my life.
What stopped you?
I guess as time went on, the prospect, my grandmother died in 4 or 5 years while I was still in Jamshedpur. And the ties to remain here were less. But I guess as you get involved, it becomes more difficult to pack a bag and move again.
Yeah. Did you ever put to use all the training that you had in architecture and structure?
No, not after I came back. I had the opportunity of designing and building a house for my mother, which still stands, and one house in Jamshedpur, but that's about all.
That's about
Yeah.
it. So you were 25 when you moved to Jamshedpur. Do you feel life had surprised you? I mean, did you know how it would turn out?
No. No, it was an experience. It was both culturally an experience, work-wise was an experience.
Did you know where you were going?
No, that's why I almost went back. For 7, 8 years, I just didn't know where I was going.
Yeah. So it has surprised you the way it's turned out, hasn't it?
Yes, things started to change much later in life for me. And it seemed to have a direction. There seemed to be...
That you put in a very long apprenticeship, didn't you?
Yes, it seemed like an endless apprenticeship. And perhaps the change came when I got involved with Nelco, which was a small electronic company that nobody wanted to touch.
You were in a firefighting situation, weren't you?
That's right. So that was when things started to really become both challenging and interesting.
And that's when you started enjoying it.
And that's when I started enjoying it. After that, I never looked at going back.